This is Ringler Radio, where you get all the latest news and information about settlement solutions, litigation, mediation, and structured financial security from Ringler, the largest and most experienced company of settlement consultants in the United States. Ringler has been helping injured people and their families since 1975. Ringler Radio is made possible in part by American General, Liberty Mutual, MetLife, Mutual of Omaha, New York Life, Pacific Life, and Prudential. Now join Ringler Radio host Larry Cohen.
Well, hello and welcome to Ringler Radio, everyone. I'm your host, Larry Cohen, and we're certainly glad you could join us again today. Well, usually on Ringler Radio, when we talk about structured settlements, we're referring to the tax-free annuity product used to resolve physical injury events. These are the so-called qualified cases in which a claimant can receive tax-free annuity benefits and where by means of a qualified assignment document, a defendant can assign away its ownership interest and its contingent liability, which is a real win-win for all the parties. But what about using a structured settlement annuity to help resolve a non-injury case? Can these non-qualified cases still take advantage of the structured settlement process? Well, now, by means of a non-qualified assignment, certain non-physical injury settlements can still provide advantages for both the claimant and the defendant. So today on Ringler Radio, we've asked the experts from MetLife to discuss their new non-qualified assignment product and how it can be used to help resolve certain non-injury cases. Serving as my co-host today is a good friend and my Ringler colleague, Bill Wright, who heads up our Atlanta office. Bill has more than 20 years of experience in settlement planning, financial risk management, and insurance. So with that, welcome, Bill. Welcome to Ringler Radio. Glad to have you here as my co-host.
Thanks, Claire. It's great to be back.
Terrific. Well, our special guest today is Paul Marshall, Sales Director of Structured Settlements for MetLife, and really one of the true experts in the structured settlement arena. So with that, welcome to the show, Paul. I'm glad we have you here to help explain this to us.
Thank you for inviting me, Larry.
Terrific. So, Paul, let's begin the show with you explaining to our audience just what the MetLife non-qualified assignment product is all about.
Sure. The non-qualified assignment takes what's proven to work so well in the personal physical injury litigation market and applies it in the adjacent non-physical injury market. Our non-qualified assignment, it enables us to take an assignment of the following types of claims or litigation: employment claims, construction defect cases, cases involving punitive damages, NASD, or now FINRA suitability cases, environmental cases, directors and officers and errors and omissions claims, and attorney fees associated with all these types of cases.
Wow, those are an awful lot of, that's a long list of non-injury related cases. So maybe you can go back and talk specifically about some of those. Give us a little bit more meat on those bones.
That's a good point, Larry. So going back to the first category that I mentioned, employment litigation, that includes wrongful termination, sexual harassment, discrimination, and mental anguish. As you know, those types of cases don't involve a physical injury, so they aren't excludable from gross income. The next category that I mentioned, construction defect, is where the negligent construction results in property damage, for example. And in those cases, payments under a non-qualified assignment can be structured to coincide with the necessary future repairs. And then regarding punitive damages, as you know, Larry, punitive damages are specifically excluded under Internal Revenue Code Section 104A2. So if a physical injury case settles where there are also punitive damages, those taxable punitive damages cannot be structured under a qualified assignment. However, they can be structured under our non-qualified assignment product. I also mentioned National Association of Securities Dealers, or now Financial Industry Regulatory Authority suitability cases. So an example of an NASD or FINRA suitability case would involve the settlement of a dispute between investors and security brokerage firms. The next one that I mentioned, Larry, was in an environmental settlement, for example, periodic payments could be utilized to fund cleanup and remediation over several years. And I also stated that also eligible are D&O and E&O claims, and of course attorney fees associated with all these types of cases that we can write under our non-qualified assignment. Yeah, we believe that this solution provides the opportunity for a significant number of additional claim settlements to be structured. When claimants and their attorneys settle the cases that don't qualify under Internal Revenue Code Section 130, they can still elect to receive periodic payments prior to the settlement which will enable them to spread the tax obligations in an efficient manner throughout the future years. And of course, the non-qualified assignment product that we're talking about today that we just released this year, it allows the carriers and defendants to assign these periodic payment obligations. And of course, the objective is with the expansion of MetLife structured settlement capabilities for non-qualified assignments, we believe it will create market growth and expansion.
Well, that sounds good.
Paul, MetLife's non-qualified assignment product is the first of its kind to utilize an onshore assignment company. Can you tell us about that and how that works?
Sure, Bill. All of our non-qualified assignment cases are offered through Metropolitan Tower Life Insurance Company, which is domiciled in Nebraska, and they're owned by MetLife Assignment Company, Inc., which is domiciled in Delaware. So what we have and what we offer are two U.S.-based entities rather than a non-U.S. entity owning an annuity from a domestic insurer. Also, we're able to keep the assignment company onshore by making sure the annuity complies with Internal Revenue Code Section 72U. Therefore, the annuity payments must begin within a year, pay out at least annually, and be substantially equal. So what that means in terms of plan types is no deferrals and no lump sums under this product.
That's interesting. No deferrals and no lump sums in order to comply with 72U. Have you found in some of the early cases you've done, Paul, that's been an impediment to doing the cases, or do most people understand that and comply with it?
That's a good question, Larry. We find occasionally where it doesn't lend itself to structuring if we can't do the deferred types of plans. But for the most part, it's advantageous for the reasons that we discussed and we will discuss further regarding especially the tax advantages.
Sure. Well, Paul, employment litigation, as you mentioned, construction defect and environmental claims, there are really a few of the more commonly known types of non-qualified cases which can use the MetLife non-qualified assignment. But why don't you give us an idea of some other types of cases that may be eligible, perhaps with a specific example?
Sure, Larry. Some of the types of cases we see using our non-qualified assignment include attorney's fees, as long as the attorney, of course, is paid on a contingent fee. So one case that we structured involved a settlement of litigation over a curriculum where the attorney structured his fee. But another type of case that we can structure that I didn't previously mention is a breach of contract case. And an example of a breach of contract case involved a scenario where a disability carrier denied the plaintiff's claim for disability benefits under a group disability policy that the plaintiff had through her employer. So then the plaintiff engaged a law firm for assistance with filing a breach of contract claim against the disability carrier, seeking periodic payments to settle the case.
Okay.
Yeah, interesting. Paul, as you know, taking care of the long-term needs of the client is always a goal of ours. What are the potential advantages of the non-qualified assignment for the claimant and also for the defendant?
Sure, Bill. Yeah, for the claimant or the payee, obviously, they have the ability to create customized guaranteed payments to meet their future income needs and spread their income and corresponding tax obligations over the future years. So as a result, the non-qualified assignment provides for a unique financial planning opportunity at the point of settlement. On the other hand, for the defendant or carrier, they have the ability to transfer the investment risk of the periodic payments to Metropolitan Tower Life Insurance Company, along with the administrative responsibilities of issuing those periodic payments. Furthermore, they can elect payments for life. So if the payments are guaranteed for life, Met Tower Life also assumes the mortality risk. So in the end, it really benefits the parties by serving as a strong negotiating tool that can help save time and money as well as avoid the potential of a large verdict.
And that's always the goal of all litigation, to try to avoid the large verdict from the defendant's standpoint, and hopefully these non-qualified assignment products on non-injury cases will really help out. So let's take a quick break right now. We'll be right back in a minute right here on Ringler Radio talking to Paul Marshall about MetLife's non-qualified assignment product. We'll be right back.
This is Ringler Radio, brought to you from Ringler, the nation's leading provider of fair settlement solutions. Did you know that Ringler is involved in a third of all structured settlement cases in the country? Ringler advisors work with all the parties in a lawsuit settlement to find the best possible financial solution for the people involved. Everybody wins. There's a Ringler consultant in all the major cities of the U.S. No one has more experienced experts in the settlement business than Ringler. Check out our website at www.ringlerassociates.com for the best information for injured parties, attorneys, and claims professionals to find the Ringler advisor nearest you. When it's your interests at stake in a lawsuit settlement, you want only the best, most objective financial plan. You can count on Ringler advisors to create a customized plan that meets the financial needs of you and your family for the future. Visit ringlerassociates.com to learn more.
Welcome back to Ringler Radio. Glad you could join us. I'm your host, Larry Cohen, and along with my co-host, Bill Wright, from our Atlanta office, we're speaking with Paul Marshall, Sales Director of Structured Settlements for MetLife. So, Paul, what's been the response to MetLife's non-qualified assignment product so far in the marketplace? Obviously, that's the number one question that you would always have when you introduce a new product. What's the response like?
Yeah, Larry, we've had great response to the introduction of our non-qualified assignment product so far, and we believe the future is obviously bright. We think the key to its success is the tax efficiency. So when dealing with a physical injury, for example, whether you take the cash or the payments over time, it's tax-free. However, for non-physical injury cases, the taxes near the settlement can be substantial. For example, if a claimant will net a settlement of $1 million, a significant portion of that income will be taxed at the highest marginal rate. However, if the claimant instead agrees to periodic payments for 20 years in the settlement agreement, the annual amount taxable and payable to the claimant would be roughly $67,000. Thus, the claimant's going to pay less in taxes by structuring the taxable settlement. This goes for the attorney as well, who structures his or fee under our non-qualified assignment. So spreading it out to bring in those future cash flows in at a smaller marginal tax bracket makes good fiduciary sense.
Well, and also, as you know, anytime someone gets all the cash up front, there's a propensity for them to dissipate. So this also would have the ability for those people to maybe protect that income over a longer period of time, and maybe it'll be serve their interest a little bit better.
Paul, if someone is interested in this non-qualified assignment, how can they get more information?
Sure, Bill. Just feel free to call us at 800-638-0051, extension 2. Or visit our website at www.metlife.com/retirement and income solutions.
Well, you know, this has been a very interesting show. I think a lot of the people in the brokerage community and a lot of lawyers out there that might be listening are going to find that the non-qualified assignment product is something they really want to look into, because one of the things that I've noticed, and you said here, Paul, is that we're talking about domestic insurance companies, domestic companies being involved in these kinds of cases with the MetLife product, as opposed to the offshores, which oftentimes, raise issues in people's minds about how that all works. So that's a real plus, and I think it's going to bode well for the MetLife product, and I look forward to using it, of course, myself, and I know Bill probably does as well, and all the other brokers that are out there. So with that, in case you're a first-time listener, you should know that every Ringler Radio show and every Ringler Associate can be found on ringlerassociates.com. That's our website. It's a great website. I encourage you to look at it. You can find all the Ringler Associates and also a lot of information about structured settlements as you look there. And also, if you want to hear the Ringler Radio shows, which have been many, many, many shows over a long period of time, as I said, you can find them on ringlerassociates.com, but you can also find them on ringlerradio.com, legaltalknetwork.com, or on iTunes, where you can go and download it and listen at your pleasure whenever you would like. So with that, I want to thank you again, Paul, for being a great guest here today. The expertise, the information is going to be helpful to a lot of us in the industry, so thank you again, Paul.
Oh, you're welcome, Larry. And Bill, it's a pleasure speaking with both of you.
Absolutely. And Bill, thanks for being a great co-host.
Thanks, Larry. Thanks, Paul. Great.
Terrific. And for all the rest of you out there who've been listening, go out and have a great day. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
The views expressed by the participants of this program are their own and do not represent the views of, nor are they endorsed by, Legal Talk Network, its officers, directors, employees, agents, representatives, shareholders, and subsidiaries. None of the content should be considered legal advice. As always, consult a lawyer. Thanks for listening to Ringler Radio, celebrating more than a decade of podcasting and over 2 million listeners. Think of Ringler, The Objective Settlement Advisors, with more than 140 consultants in 60 cities nationwide. Visit ringlerassociates.com today.
The following is a message from Metropolitan Tower Life Insurance Company. Attorneys will generally need to have a fee arrangement in place at the time of settlement, which provides for the structuring of payments solely from the claimant's settlement proceeds. Structuring of attorney fees could have important legal and tax consequences. Attorneys should consult with their own tax and legal advisors prior to agreeing to structure legal fees to determine the tax and other legal consequences. The method of tax reporting with respect to such fees is subject to change where Metropolitan Tower Life Insurance Company deems such change to be required under the federal tax law or IRS guidance. Metropolitan Tower Life Insurance Company, its agents, and representatives may not give legal or tax advice. You should consult with and rely on your own independent legal and tax advisor regarding your particular set of facts and circumstances. All guarantees are subject to the claims paying ability and financial strength of Metropolitan Tower Life Insurance Company.